Hi guys, I'm back. Today I'm going to read Mark 3-8, Proverbs 7, and Psalm 73. Let's get started. Again he entered the synagogue, and a man was there with a withered hand, and they watched Jesus to see whether he would heal him on the Sabbath, so that they might accuse him. And he said to the man with the withered hand, "Come here." And he said to them, lawful on the Sabbath to do good or to do harm, to save life or to kill. But they were silent, and he looked around at them with anger, grieved at their hardness of heart, and said to them, "Stretch out your hand." He stretched it out, and his hand was restored. The Philistines went out and immediately held counsel with the Herodians against him, how to destroy him. Jesus withdrew with his disciples to the sea, and a great crowd followed, from Galilee and Judea and Jerusalem and Idumea, and from beyond the Jordan, and from around Tyre and Sidon. When the great crowd heard all that he was doing, they came to him. He told his disciples to have a boat ready for him because of the crowd, lest they crush him. And here he remained, so that they had disease. All who had disease pressed around him and touched him. And whenever the unclean spirits saw, they fell down before him and cried out, "You are the Son of God." And he strictly ordered them not to make him known. And he went up on the mountain and called to him those whom he desired, and they came to him. And he appointed 12, so that they might be with him, and he might send them out to preach, and have authority to cast out demons. He appointed the 12, Simon, James the son of Zebedee, and John the brother of James, Andrew and Philip, and Bartholomew, and Matthew, and Thomas, and James the son of Alphaeus, and Thaddeus, and Simon the Zealot, and Judas Iscariot who betrayed him. Then he went home, and the crowd gathered against him, that they could not even eat. And when his family heard it, they went out to Caesar, for they were saying, "He is out of his mind." And the scribes who came down from Jerusalem were saying, "He possessed by Beelzebul, and then by the prince of demons he cast out the demons." And he called them to him, and said to them parables, "How can sin cast out sin? If the kingdom is divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house is divided against itself, that house will not be able to stand. And if Satan has risen up against himself and is divided, he cannot stand. And is coming to an end. Yet no one can enter a strong man's house and plunder his good. Unless he first burns the strong man, then indeed he may plunder his house. For I say to you, all sins will be forgiven the children. And whatever blasphemy they are, and whoever blasphemes against the Holy Spirit and never has forgiveness, but is guilty of attempting. They will say he is an unclean spirit. And so was king, and standing outside, they sent to him and called him. And the crowd was sitting around him, and they said to him, "Your mother and your brother are outside seeking you." And he answered, "Who are my mother and my brother?" And looking about at those who stood around him, he said, "Here are my mother and my brothers. Whoever does the will of God, he is my brother and sister and my mother." And again he began to teach beside the sea, and a very large crowd gathered around him. Then he got into a boat and sat there on the sea. And the whole crowd was beside the sea on the water, and he was teaching them many things in parables. And in his teaching he said to them, "Listen, behold, so went out to sow, and as he sowed, some seed fell among the path, and the birds came and devoured it. Other seed fell on rocky ground, where it did not have much soil, and immediately it sprang up, since it had no depth of soil. And when the sun rose, it scorched, and since it had no root, it withered away. Other seed fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked it, and it yielded no grain. Other seeds fell to good soil, and produced grain, growing up and increasing, and yielding 30-fold and 60-fold and 100-fold. And he said, He who has ears to hear, let him hear." And when he has done, those around him with the 12 asked him about the parables. And he said, "Do you have near the secret of the kingdom of God? Those outside, everything is in parables, so that they may indeed see but not perceive, and may indeed hear but not understand, lest they should turn and be forgiven." And he said, "Do you not understand this parable? How then will you understand all the parables? This also is the word, and these are the ones along the path. And the word is sown, when they hear, Satan immediately comes and takes away the word that is sown. And these are the ones sown in rocky ground, the ones who, when they hear the word, immediately receive it with joy. And they have no root in themselves, and endure for a little while. When tribulation or persecution arise on account of the word, immediately they fall away. And others are the ones sown among thorns, those who hear the word, and because of the world and the deceitfulness of riches and the desire for other things enter in Jacob, and it proves and run fruitful. For those that were sown on the good soil are the ones who hear the word, and accept and bear fruit, 30-fold and 60-fold and 100-fold. And he said to them, "Is a lamp ordered to be put under a basket, or under a bag, and not understand? And nothing is hidden except to be made manifest, nor is anything secret except to come to light. If anyone has ears to hear, let him hear." Nor is anything. And he said to them, "Pay attention to what you hear, unless with the measure you use, and it will be measured to you, and still more will be added to you. And to the one who has, more will be given, and the one who has not, even what he has, it will be taken away." And he said, "The kingdom of God is as if a man should cast seed on the ground. He sleeps and rises night and day, and the seed sprouts and grows. He does not know how. And the earth produces by itself first the plant, then the ear. and the full grain in the ear, and the right grain is right. At once he puts in the sickle because the harvest has come. Then he said, "My smart coming to bear the kingdom of God. Oh, what power shall we use for it? It's like a grain of mustard seed, which means on the ground. It's the most of all the seeds on the earth." And then he puts out. Yet when it is sown, it grows up and becomes large, and all the garden plants, and puts out large branches so that the birds of the air can make nests in its shade. It makes the parables his sweet words, so that they will be able to hear. Needs no sweet to them without a parable. But probably held to his disciples as he explained everything. On that day, when evening had come, he said to them, "Let us go across to the other side." And leaving the crowd, they took him with them in the boat, just as he went in. And the boat the gate was no worse, and the waves were breaking into the boat. And as the boat was already filled, he was in the stern, asleep on the cushion. And they awoke him and said to him, "Peter, do you not care that we are perishing?" And he awakened and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, "Peace, be still." And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. And he said to them, "Why are you still afraid? Have you still no faith?" And they were filled with such grief, they answered one another, "Who is this that even the wind and the sea obey him?" And he turned to the other side of the sea, to the country of the Gerasenes. And when Jesus had the boat, immediately they went in, and to change the man with the unclean spirit. He looked among the two, and no one could bind him anymore, not even with the chain. Now he had often been bound with shackles and chains, and he wrenched the chains apart, and he brake the shackles in pieces. No one had the strength to subdue it. Night and day among the tombs and on the mountains he was always crying out and cutting himself with stones. And when he saw Jesus from afar, he ran and fell down before him, and crying out with a loud voice, he said, "What have you to do with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I adjure you by God, do not torment me." But he was saying to him, "Come out of man, you ugly spirit." And Jesus asked, "What is your name?" He said, and replied, "My name is Legion, for we are many." And he begged them earnestly not to send them out of the country. And a great herd of pigs was feeding down the hillside, and they begged them, saying, "Send us to the pigs, let us enter them." So he gave them permission, and the unclean spirits came out and entered the pigs. And the herd, numbering about 2,000, rushing out down the steep bank into the sea and drowned in the sea. And the herdsmen fled and told in the country, and the people came to see what it was that had happened. And they came to Jesus and saw the demon-possessed man, the one who had the legion, sitting there, those in his right hand mind, and they were afraid. And those who had seen it described it to what had happened from the demon-possessed man into the pigs. And they began to pray to Jesus and far from their region. And they were going into the man who had been possessed with demons begged him that he might be with them. And he did not permit him, but said, "Go home to your friends and tell them how much the Lord has done for you, and how he has had mercy on you." And he went away from him and began to declare clearly to the Decapolis how much Jesus had done for him. Everyone marveled. And when Jesus crossed again into the boat onto the other side, a great crowd gathered about him, and he was beside the sea. And then came out one of the rulers of the synagogue, Jairus by name, and seeing he fell at his feet and implored him earnestly, saying, "My little daughter is at the point of death. Come, lay hands on her so that she may be well and live." And he went with him. And a great crowd followed him and thronged about him. And there was a woman who was discharged of blood for 12 years, and who suffered much under many physicians, and spent all that she had, and had no better or rather grew worse. She had heard the reports about Jesus and came up behind the crowd and touched his garment. And she said, "If I touch even his garments, I will be made well." And immediately the flow of blood drained her, and she felt in that body that she was healed of the disease. And Jesus, perceiving in himself that power had gone out from him, immediately turned about in the crowd and said, "Who touched my garments?" And his disciples said to him, "You see the crowd pressing around you, and yet you say, 'Who touched me?'" And he looked around to see who had done. And Lord, knowing what happened to him, came in fear and trembling, and fell down before him, and turned to hold Jesus. He said to him, "Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace, and be healed of your disease." And while he was still speaking, there came from the ruler's house one who said, "Your daughter is dead. Why talk the teacher any further?" Overhearing what they said, Jesus said to the ruler of the synagogue, "Do not fear, only believe." And he allowed no one to enter, follow him except Peter, James, and John, the brother of James. And he came to the house of the ruler of the synagogue. Then Jesus saw a commotion, people weeping and wailing loudly. And he had entered, he said, "Why are you making a commotion and weeping?" And Charles was dead was sleeping, and they laughed at him. And he turned them all aside, and took the child's father and mother and those who were with him, and went into where the child was. Taking her by the hand, he said to her, "Talitha cumi," which means, "Little girl, I say to you, arise." Immediately the girl got up and began walking. And they were immediately overcome with amazement. And he strictly charged them that no one should know this. And he gave them something, and told them to give us something to eat. And he went away from there and came to his hometown. His disciples followed him. On the Sabbath he began to teach in the synagogue, and many who heard him were astonished, saying, "Where did this man get these things? If this is the wisdom, and what is the wisdom given to him? How shall such mighty works done by his hands? Is not this the carpenter, the son of Mary, brother James, and Joseph, and Judah, and Simon? Not his sisters here with us?" And they took offense at him. And Jesus said, "The prophet is not without honor, except in his hometown and among his relatives and his own household." For he could do no mighty work, except that he laid his hands on a few sick people and healed them. And he marveled because of their unbelief. And he went up the soldiers teaching, and he called the 12 apostles and sent them out 2 by 2. And he gave them authority over unclean spirits. He charged them to take nothing for their journey, except staff, no bread, no bag, no money in their belts. Their weapons, and not put on 2 chains. And he said to them, "Whenever you enter a house, stay there until you depart from it. And if anyone will not receive, and they will not listen to you, when you leave, take out the dust that is on your feet as a testimony against them." So they went out and proclaimed that people should repent. And cast out many demons, and anointed with oil many who were sick, and healed them. The king Herod heard of it, and Jesus' name had become. Some said John the Baptist has remade him. This is why these miraculous powers are at work in him. And others said he is Elijah, and others said he is a prophet like one of the prophets of old. And when Herod heard of it, he said, "John, whom I beheaded, has been raised." And it was Herod who had been sentenced and bound him in prison for the sake of Herodias, his brother Philip's wife, because he had married her. But John had been saying to Herod, "It is not lawful to you to have your brother's wife." And Herodias had a grudge against him and wanted to put him to death. And he treated him well. But Herodias feared John, knowing that he was a righteous and holy man, and he kept him safe. When he heard him, he was really perplexed, and yet he heard him gladly. When an opportunity came when Herod on his birthday gave a banquet for his neighbors, and military commanders, and the liniment of Galilee. When Herodias' daughter came in and danced, she pleased Herod and his guests. And the king said to the girl, "Ask me for whatever you wish, and I'll give it to you." And he vowed to her, "Whatever you ask me, I'll give you, up to half of my kingdom." And she went and said to another, "Why should I ask?" And she said, "The head of John the Baptist." And she came immediately with haste to the king's house, and saying, "I want you to give me at once the head of John the Baptist on a platter." And the king was exceedingly sorry. Because of his eyes and his guests, he did not want to break his word to her. And immediately the king sent an executioner with orders to bring John's head. He went and beheaded him in the prison, and brought his head on a platter and gave it to the girl. And the girl gave it to his mother. And the disciples heard of it. They came and took the body and laid it in the tomb. The apostles returned to Jesus and told him all that they had done and saw. And he said to them, "Come away by yourselves to a desolate place and rest a while." For many were coming and going, and he had no leisure even to eat. And they went away in the boat to a desolate place by themselves. Now many saw them going and recognized them, and ran them on flow from all the towns and got their heads. And when he went ashore, he saw a great crowd, and he had compassion on them, because they are like sheep without a shepherd. And he began to teach them many things. And it grew late. His disciples came to him and said, "This is a desolate place, and the hour is now late. Send them away to go into the surrounding hills and countryside and lodge." They were just invite them something to eat. And he answered them, "You have something to eat?" And they said, "Shall we go and buy 200 denarii worth of bread and give it to them to eat?" And he said to them, "How many loaves do you have?" Go and see. When they found out, they said, 5, and 2 fish. And he commanded them to sit down in groups on the green grass. And they sat down in groups, 100 by 50, and by taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, he looked up to heaven and said, "Blessing and broke the loaf, and gave it to the disciples to set before the people. And he divided the 2 fish among them, and they ate and were satisfied. And they took up 12 baskets full of broken pieces and of the fish, and those who ate the loaves were 5,000 men. And immediately he made his disciples get into the boat and go before him to the other side, to Bethsaida, while he dismissed the crowd. And after he had taken leave of them, he went up on the mountainside out to them to pray. And when evening came, when the boat was on the sea, and he was alone on the land, and when he saw that they were making headway painfully, for the wind was against him, and about the 4th watch of the night he came to walking on the sea. It was over, he meant to pass by them. When they saw him walking on the sea, they thought it was a ghost, and cried. But they all saw him and were terrified. And immediately he spoke to them and said, "Take heart, it is I, do not be afraid." And he got into the boat with them, and the wind ceased, and they were utterly stand. They did not understand about the loaves, but their hearts were hardened. And they crossed over, they came to land at Gennesaret, and moored to the shore. And when they got out of the boat, the people immediately recognized him, and ran about the whole region and began hurrying the sick people on their beds to wherever they heard he was. And wherever he came, in villages and cities or countryside, they laid the sick in the marketplace and implored him that they might touch even the fringe of his garment. And many as touched it were made well. So when the Pharisees gathered to the some of the scribes who had come from Jerusalem, they saw that some of his disciples ate with hands ate with him, and were they would fill, that is, unwashed. And the Pharisees and the scribes asked him, why do your disciples do not walk according to the tradition of the elders, but eat with defiled hands? And he said to them, well, did Isaiah prophesy of you hypocrites? As his word, no people honors me with their lips, but their hearts far from me. In vain do they worship me, teaching as doctrines the commandments of men. You leave the commandment of God and hold the tradition of men. And he said to them, you have a fine way of rejecting the commandment of God in order to establish your tradition. And Moses said, honor your father and your mother, and whoever reveals father or mother must surely die. But you say, if a man tells his father, whatever you do has gained me is called, then you no longer permit him to do anything for his father or mother, thus making void the word of God by your tradition that you handed. And many such things you do. And he called the person to him again and said to him, hear me, all of you, and understand. There is nothing outside a person that you are going to fill, that the things that come out of a person that are what to fill. And when he had entered the house and left the people, his disciples asked him about the parable. And he said to them, are you without understanding? And do you not see that whatever goes into a person, their mouth I cannot fill, since it enters not heart but is stopped, and is expelled. Then he said, when it comes out of a person, it is what to fill them. For from within, out of the heart of man, comes evil thoughts, sexual immorality, theft, murder, adultery, covet, wickedness, deceit, and sensuality, envy, slander, pride, foolishness. All these evil things come forth then, and they defile a person. And from there he arose and went away to the region of Tyre and Sidon. And he entered the house and did not want anyone to know, yet he could not be hidden. And immediately a woman whose little daughter had an unclean spirit heard of him and came and fell down to him. Now the woman was a Gentile, a Syrophoenician seen by birth, and she begged him to cast the demon out of her daughter. And he said to her, let the children be fed first, for it is not right to take the children's bread and throw it to the dogs. And she answered, yes, Lord, even the dogs under the table eat the children's crumbs. And he said to her, for this statement you may go your way. The demon has left your daughter. And she went home and found the child lying in your bed, and the demon gone. And he returned from the region of Tyre and went through to the Sea of Galilee, in the region of the Decapolis. And they brought to him a man who was deaf and speech impediment. And he begged him to lay his hand on him. And after taking him aside from the crowd privately, he put his fingers into his ears. And after spitting, he touched his tongue, and looking up to heaven, he sighed and said to her, Ephphatha, that is, be open. And his ears were open, his tongue was released, and he spoke well. And Jesus charged him to tell him everything. And the more he charged them, the more zealously they proclaimed. And they were astonished beyond measure. He that has done all things well, he makes even the deaf hear and the mute speak. In those days, then again a great crowd was gathered, and they had nothing to eat. He called his disciples to him and said to them, I have compassion on the crowd, because they have been with me now 3 days and have nothing to eat. And if I send them away hungry to their homes, they will faint on the way, and some of them will come from far away. And his disciples answered, how can one feed these people with bread here in this desolate place? And he answered, how many loaves do you have? They said, 7. And he directed the crowd to sit on the ground. And he took the 7 loaves, and having given thanks, he broke them and gave them to his disciples to set before the people. And they set them before the crowd. And they had a few small fish. And having blessed them, he said that these also should be set before them. And they ate and were satisfied. And they took up the broken pieces left over, 7 baskets full. And they were about 4,000 people. They sent them away, and immediately he got into it with his disciples and went to the district of Dalmatha. The Pharisees came and began to argue with them, seeking from a sign from heaven to test them. And he sighed deeply in the spirit and said, why does this generation seek a sign? Truly I say to you, no sign will be given into this generation. And he left and got into the boat again and went to the other side. And when they had forgotten to bring bread, and they only one loaf with them in the boat, and cautioned them, saying, watch out, beware the leaven of the Pharisees and the leaven of Herod. And they began to discuss with one another the fact that they had no bread. And Jesus said to them, why are you discussing the fact that you have no bread? Do you not yet perceive or perceive unto my heart's hard, having no eyes do you see, having ears do you not hear? And do you not remember when I broke up the 5 loaves for the 5,000, how many baskets full of broken pieces did you take? And he said, 12. And 7 for the 4,000, how many baskets full of broken pieces did you take up? And they said, 7. And he said to them, do you not yet understand? And they came to Bethsaida. And some people watched him and blind men, and begged him to touch him. And he took the blind man by the hand and led him out of the village. And when he had spit out his eyes and laid his hand on him, he said to him, do you see anything? He looked at him and said, I see people, but they look like trees walking. And Jesus laid his hand on his eyes again, and he opened his eyes. His sight was restored, and he saw everything clearly. And he sent them to his home, saying, do not even enter the village. And Jesus went on with his disciples to the villages of Caesarea Philippi. And on the way he asked the disciples, who do people say that I am? And they told him, John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and others one of the prophets. And he asked them, "But who do you say that I am?" He answered them, "You are the Christ." And he strictly charged them not to tell anyone about him. And he began to teach that the Son of Man must suffer many things, and be rejected by the elder and the chief priests and the scribes, and be killed, and after 3 days rise again. He said this plainly, and Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him, turning and seeing his disciples. He rebuked Peter and said, "Get out behind me, Satan, for you are not setting your mind on the things of God, but on the things of men." And calling the crowd together with his disciples, he said to them, "If anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take his cross and follow me. For whoever would save his life will lose, and whoever will lose his life for my sake and the gospel will save it. Now, what does it profit a man to gain the whole and forfeit his soul? For what can a man give in return for his soul? For whoever is ashamed of me and my word in this adulterous and terrible generation, of him will the Son of Man also be ashamed when he comes in the glory of my Father, of his Father with the holy angels." Proverbs 7. My son, keep my words and treasure my commandments. Keep my commandments and keep my teaching with the apple of your eye. Find them in your fingers, write them on the tablet of your heart. Sage wisdom, build my sister in court inside your intimate friend. Keep it from the fool of one, from the adulterers of the smooth words. Let the window of your my hand. I have lived out through my ladders. I have seen among the simple and perceived among these. The young man lacking said, passing along the street and taking the road to our house in the twilight and the evening. Time of night and darkness, and behold, the woman meets, just as a prostitute, worthy of all. She lied on way where her feet did not stay out, and down the street, down the muck, and at every corner she lies in way. She sees him and kisses him. With a bold face, she says to him, "I had to offer sacrifice, and today I paid my vow, and now I have come to meet you." Come to meet you. So seeking eagerly, and I found you. I spread my couch with covering, cover linens from Egyptian linen. I perfumed my breath with my aloes and sin. Now let's take off our love until morning. Let's lie ourselves with love. When my husband is not at hand, he's gone on a long journey. He took the bag full of money with him. You won't be a full man, he'll come with him. Reach us the doctor's feet. She persuaded him with a smooth talk she compels. Who once she follows her, as an ox goes to his slaughter, or as a stag is called for, until arrow pieces his lip, as a bird rushes into his life. He is not there that it will cost him his life. And now says, listen to me, to the words of my mouth. Words of my mouth. Let your heart turn aside to her ways, do not stray into God, for many of the times she laid, and all is laid out money. As to the way to shall go again to the chamber instead of death. Psalm 73. Truly God is good to Israel, but those who appear on high. As for me, he said, I am stumbled, my steps in nameless look, for I was envious of the arrogant, and I saw the prosperity of the wicked, for they have no pangs until death. Their bodies are fatlessly, they are not in trouble as others are, they are not stricken like the rest of mankind. They have proprietors like their necklace, violence covers them as a garment, their violence eyes swell out through fatness, their hearts overflow with follies, they scoff and speak with their mouths, not loftily they thirst and reproach, they set their mouths against the heavens, and their tongue strikes through the earth. Therefore people turn back to them and find no fault in them, and they say, how can God know? They acknowledge in the most. Behold, they are the wicked, and always at use in increasing riches, and in all in vain I get my heart clean. I wash my hands in incense, for all the day long I eat sugar, and bakes every morning. If I say I will speak thus, I would have betrayed the generation of the child. And I thought how to understand. It seemed to me a work sometimes. Turn men into the sanctuary of God, and then I discerned that. Surely you set them in slippery places, you make them fall to ruin. How they had destroyed them and stalked away utterly by terror. Like a dream of one awake, alone. When you rise to you despise my offenses. When my soul was embittered, when I was put to heart, I was brutish and ignorant. I was like a beast towards you. Nevertheless, I am continually with you. Hold my right hand. You guide me with your counsel. And afterward you will receive me to glory. Him have I in heaven but you. And there is nothing on earth that I desire besides you. My flesh and my heart may fail, but God is my strength of heart, my heart, and my portion forever. For behold, there you those who are far from me shall perish. You shall put an end to anyone for one who is unfaithful to you. For me, it is good to be near. I made the Lord God my refuge. I may tell of all your works. Now this damnation I do the Lord's work. Lead my hands, our Father in heaven. Now I am your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Yes, now do you, but when yours and debtors, yes, if you're not debtors, lead not into temptation, but to those the evil one. Yes, the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. See you tomorrow. Bye.